Hey, good morning, my friends. You know, Mondays usually start slow, but not this one. You see, coming up in today's show, Ramaphosa's decision to fire a DA minister sparks a serious coalition fallout. Over 90 billion rand in forgotten benefits might just have your name on it. And the Springboks hand the Barbarians a Cape Town masterclass. And guys, that's just a taster. We have plenty more in today's mix. Let's get into it. And kicking us off with current affairs, at the end of last week, President Ramaphosa sacked DA Deputy Minister Andrew Whitfield for reportedly taking an international trip without approval. But it's what's happened since then that's really shaking the coalition. You see, the DA says that Whitfield had asked for permission and got silence. And now they're accusing Ramaphosa of applying this double standard where he's punishing a DA minister for a technical travel breach while keeping ANC ministers with serious criminal allegations firmly in cabinet. So the DA has responded by pulling out of Ramaphosa's 740 million rand national dialogue. And this is this flagship initiative meant to bring political parties, civil society and businesses together to help fix South Africa's biggest problems. The DA says, hey, there's no point in dialogue if the president can't even play fair with his own coalition. Furthermore, they've vowed to block any budgets for departments led by corruption-accused ANC officials. Now, Ramaphosa insists that this firing wasn't political, but what has started out as a technical breach is now dragging the whole GNU into a political reckoning. And on to our quickfire mentions, Irish visa delays have hit thousands of South Africans, with over 2,300 applications still pending despite being filed months ago. Now, officials blame a backlog caused by a surge in asylum claims last year. And it's been reported that zero-rated groceries, which are basic foods that are exempt from VAT to stay affordable, are still climbing in price. I mean, items like maize meal, samp, and onions are all up 5% in the past year. And onto our finance section. I've got a feeling that a couple of you are going to be thanking me for this later, because right now, South African banks, insurers, and pension funds are sitting on over 90 billion rand in unclaimed benefits. And a little chunk of that might just have your name on it. So we're talking about forgotten pensions, lost life insurance payouts, and 4.5 billion rand in unpaid dividends just sitting on the JSE. The problem here is that millions of people don't know that they owed anything because companies moved on, contact details changed, or nobody even explained how to claim. So look, whether it's you, your dad, your auntie, or your second cousin who worked a job in 2004, let them know. Because if you've ever had a pension, a policy, or a pay slip, there's a non-zero chance that you've got money waiting, and it's certainly worth checking. And next up, you may not have noticed, but the JSE has been on a tear. South African stocks have just clocked their strongest first half rally since 2006. And with the all-share index up 14% in rand terms and 21% in dollars, that's better than both the S&P 500 and the emerging markets average. And it's largely thanks to one thing: gold. So with metal prices soaring, South Africa's mining shares have gone ballistic. I mean, the precious metals index is up 74% this year. And so the gold giants like Harmony and Anglo Gold are sitting on gains of over 60%. And platinum stocks like Sibanye are up even higher. So why is this? Analysts are saying that global investors are nervous about everything from inflation, wars, rate cuts. And when this kind of stuff happens, gold looks good. And when gold looks good, South African gold miners look good. Pretty simple. And so yeah, this tailwind from gold is strong, but whether it's enough is a completely different question. And onto our quickfire mentions, some African leaders are pushing back against the global credit rating agencies, saying that these outdated models and arbitrary risk assumptions are supposedly inflating borrowing costs for developing nations and blocking access to much needed capital. And Standard Bank has raised its executive retirement age from 60 to 63, joining peers like Nedbank and Absa. The move is supposedly aimed at keeping senior talent longer in an increasingly competitive financial sector. And onto our sports section. Look, if you were worried that the Springboks might ease into the new season, think again. In front of a rain-soaked Cape Town crowd, the Boks thumped the Barbarians 54-7, scoring 8 tries, flexing their depth, and putting on a show that was anything but friendly. And it wasn't just the scoreboard that impressed. The handling in the wet conditions was clinical, the defense rock solid, and the set pieces sharp. Ches and Colby looked like he never left, Luat Dialga reminded everyone what they're missing, and Vincent Chituka played like a man trying to cement his name on the team sheet, which he might have done. But I think we can all agree that the wildest twist was center Andre Esterhuizen playing flank. Yes, flank. Rossi's at it again, experimenting, innovating, and somehow making it work. Next up, we have 2 tests against Italy starting this Saturday at Loftus. All the best, boys. And on to our quick fire mentions. Proteas newcomers Luandre Pretorius and Diovolt Brevis both hit centuries in a dominant opening test against Zimbabwe, with Pretorius becoming the youngest South African to score a ton on debut. The British and Irish Lions opened their Australia tour with a thumping 54-7 win over the Western Force. Rising star Henry Pollock stole the show, but scrum off Thomas Williams limped off with a hamstring injury. And UFC 317 ended with a bang as Ilia Topuria knocked out Charles Oliveira to claim the vacant lightweight title. A post-fight face-off with Paddy Pimblett now has fans hyped over what's next. And before we continue, here is your Bagel Bite of the day. How much did Facebook, now Meta, pay to acquire WhatsApp back in 2014? Was it A, $1 billion, B, $7 billion, or C, $19 billion? We'll give you the answer at the end of the show. Down to our wildcard section. The way that South Africans use social media is shifting, not overnight, but noticeably. You see, Facebook use is down, TikTok is still surging, and this one for me is surprising. Even WhatsApp dominance is slipping. Look, it's still the most used messaging app, but more South Africans are moving towards alternatives like Telegram, drawn by stronger privacy and less noise. Meanwhile though, niche platforms like Reddit and Pinterest are quietly gaining more users, especially among the younger crowds looking for more curated, interest-based spaces. So according to the 2025 Social Media Landscape Report, people aren't logging in just because they always have. They're now using fewer platforms more deliberately, especially the younger users who are now getting pickier about where they spend their time and who they trust. And look, it's not that social media is dying, it's maturing. People are using it with a purpose, not just out of habit. And for marketers, that means that the old spray and pray approach is out. South Africans want relevance, not noise. And as for that Bagel Bite, the answer is $19 billion. That's what Facebook paid for WhatsApp back in 2014 in one of the biggest tech deals of all time. Nearly a decade later, South Africans still use it more than any other app. But as we've seen today, even that grip is starting to loosen. My friends, that's it for today's show. Wishing you all a blessed week ahead. Let's get after it. I'll see you all tomorrow. Cheers.